Hello, PFCC mixing engineers, current and future. Uh, my name is Dennis, and this is PFCC Mixing Manual Class 202. By now, you should have gotten the basics of how to use a fader, how to set gain. Expectations were all laid out on the mixing manual of Class 101. But now we're and now you've progressed, but you've reached some plateaus. You realize, hey, I don't know what or how to do EQ. I don't know how to. I know limits of gating and compression and effects. We're pressing the button. But there's not much to that, right? Or so you want to level up a bit. So this is that class. There's more homework involved. You need to have a computer. You have to have your own headphones. You have to download programs. You have to download a lot of WAV files, and there's homework involved. This is because we don't have the time at church to teach everything. So we're mainly going to be focusing on using a DAW. And a DAW is a digital audio workspace, or workstation, sorry. And yeah, so before we get there, so some of the things that we're going to focus on, where to get a DAW. Secondly, we're going to go into how we're going to load files into the DAW. We're going to set it up so that there's sound coming through. And then we're going to work on EQs, on gating and compression inside the DAW. It's going to be a little different from what we are going to be doing, but it will translate. If it doesn't, maybe we'll make another video or something, but it should translate. So if you're following along, this is where I need you to go on your computer and download and go to reaper.fm, and download Reaper. Currently it's December 13th, 2025 version 7.56. So you're going to hit this, and it's going to download for you, okay? I already downloaded mine, and it is right here. When you open it up, it'll give you this page. And what this page does is you're going to see a lot of different inputs coming down the left side, and then the audio files coming on this big space here. We're going to also set it up before we input anything. We're going to go to, let's do that again, Options, Preferences, and then Device. And then we're going to make sure that these two settings are set correctly. Input device is your microphone, which for this example, you don't need because you're not inputting anything. But the output device, make sure it's your main stereo output or whatever output it is, speaker or headphone output. Okay, make sure that there is music coming out. If there isn't, you won't be able to hear anything. Okay? So we got that down. Now we're going to start loading tracks. It's very simple. Currently, I am going through one of the days. Basically, a file I have here for June 8th, 2025, and I have recorded every track on the X32 at church. And so I'm loading it onto the Google Drive that is shared between all worship team members. Okay, so it's slowly loading, but it just takes a while. But in a bit, it's gonna finish loading. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select it all. Let's do this. Gonna select it all, and I'm just gonna hold left click and then drag it into the right space here. Okay. We're gonna choose same time position on separate tracks. Press OK. I'm gonna bring it back so that it's at 0. And what I'm doing here is I'm scroll wheeling out, or zooming out. Okay, you'll see there's WAV files, audio files that you can see down the line. I'm just gonna pause here and delete the ones that don't have anything in them. So like there was no bass right, there was no Hannah acoustic that day, Wayne was leading, so on and so on. Okay, I'll be right back. Actually, changed my mind. I just deleted the bass right file, but I'm like, oh, I didn't explain how to delete and why we're doing it. It's so that when we're looking at it later, we're going to be able to see it clearer what's playing and what's not. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm selecting the left part where here, and then I'm just pressing delete. Okay, since I guess we didn't have synths that day, Hannah wasn't singing, she was on drums. Jen was on drum, or Jen wasn't on. So on and so on. Okay. Now, Pastor wasn't on. It was actually Courtney. If I'm taking too long, I can also delete 1 and 2, shift click, and press delete. Okay. I don't know what these two are yet. I think it was the recording that was picked up. I'm going to mute these two for now, and then we'll see what happens after. Okay. Now, so that was loading all the different files onto Reaper. And we can actually play it right now just to make sure something is on. I just press space bar. Okay, same thing as play. Just gonna fast forward a little. Now we can see there's different levels here. This is your gain. Okay, and I'm not sure if you just heard, Wayne was speaking, but it was very quiet. This is because nothing is gained right now. So I'm just gonna gain it. Okay, so as you can see, it doesn't sound the greatest. There's a lot of things that need to be worked on, but this is where we can practice. I was just trying to, I think, okay, you can. So you can select a 2, and you can see both these faders here. When you go up with one, it'll go up with both. I'm just gonna double click to make sure it goes back to 0. We're gonna, so my hope is I'm just gonna do one channel, just one channel, or maybe a couple of instruments, one vocal and maybe 2 or 3 instruments. And then I'm gonna gain it, go through the process of gating, of EQing, of compressing, so that it sounds good, okay? And gaining, obviously. So what we're gonna do, I'm just gonna select Wayne. Wayne is the lead. So I'm gonna solo him. And I'm gonna use my ears. I'm playing now. He's very muffled. So I'm maxed out on his volume here, right? So that's the main gain. But you'll see along the path, there's other areas where I can introduce more volume to his sound so that it doesn't sound so soft. So I max him out. We're gonna go to gate now, right? Maximum 12 decibels. Okay, so this effects icon here is where we find all the effects. We're gonna do 3. We are gonna do gate. Where's gate? Right there. And we're just gonna double click it, and this opens up. What we wanna do is we wanna bring up his voice with this, and then we're gonna eliminate all the noise. So there's sound, and then there's noise. Sound is what we want. Noise is all the bad sounds we don't want. The background sounds, the drum noises. Because remember, this track is only coming from Wayne's microphone, right? So we don't want anything else coming from his microphone other than his voice. No guitar, no nothing, okay? So we're gonna play, and then we're gonna work on it. Okay, I'm just adjusting my other volumes. So maybe that's a better way of using to get Wayne's voice louder. Okay. Sorry, it's feeding back. Give me a sec. So we're hearing drum. We're hearing guitar. Not sure if you guys can hear that. But definitely drums, right? You can hear that. So this bar,
that you would take my place, that you would lay down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, that's paying for all that you've done for me.
okay. Whew, where do I want to go with this? So, we see over here at this area, Wayne isn't singing, but the microphone is picking up background noise, right? How we see that on the board is it'll show the green bar playing even though they aren't singing. So we're just going to repeat this using this button here. And we're going to dial down the drum noise. Okay, so this is what it sounds like with no gate. It's just noise, right? So this is the background noise of the whole mic. So we're going to bring it up above the background noise as little as we can. So that, like when Wayne's not singing, it's not going to picking up noise. So that's called the threshold on the mixer. Okay? Now, we're going to bring down the attack. So what attack means is the amount of time it takes for the gate to be open. Okay? So we want a sharp attack or a very low attack so that when Wayne starts singing, it'll pick it up right away. So we're going to go down to, I think on the X32, the lowest we can go is actually 1 millisecond instead of, 0. But we want to keep this usually as low as possible. Now, the hold and release, we want it to be natural. So we don't want it too fast, and we don't want it to be too slow. What a hold is how, like once the gate opens, how long will I hold that gate for before it shuts on you again? So imagine you're going to the supermarket, and then there's the automatic doors. The automatic doors will open up once it detects someone entering, just like how the attack is gonna open up when it hears someone. And the hold for the supermarket door is how long it's gonna hold the door open for, so that you can get through the supermarket door, automatic door. And then the release is how fast the door is gonna shut on you again. So you don't want it to shut too fast, because it could create a loud noise behind you, or it can shut on the next person's face, something like that. So same thing, when the hold is too quick, it might shut down on the next word that Wayne sings. Or as well for the release, maybe it won't pick up the next word. So we don't want it too fast. Okay, so we're gonna bring these back up to 500. Around. Doesn't really matter too much. But we're gonna listen to a section of the song, maybe verse 2 here.
Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of glory, the King of glory, who rules the nation with truth. Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of glory, the King of glory, who rules the nation with.
So that was with the gate. This is without the gate.
Chaos back into order. Who makes the orphan a son and daughter?
I'm trying to show you what it sounds like with him singing and without him singing. So let's do it here like this. This is without gate.
Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of glory, the King of glory. Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of glory, the King of glory.
Okay, so what you just noticed was that when Wayne wasn't singing, there was nothing in there, right? So you can dial this down to a super precise, sound where every moment in here where Wayne's not saying like here, 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 and so on, the microphone can be shut off by using the gate. Because we're in a live environment, everything has to be looser during Sundays. So this is where the difference between using a DAW on a computer versus doing live is different. There's more flexibility with live, whereas with using a DAW, everything can be fine-tuned to the minimum. Okay, so that's basically our gate. As you can see, there was the attack, the hold, the release, and the threshold. Okay, those are the 4 things that we have to worry about. We're gonna move on to EQ. So what I just did there is I press add on the effects tray, and then go to EQ, and then press add. You can also double click. So we don't have to worry about hearing the emptinessness anymore. We're just gonna focus on this line.
Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan
So it's a little rough right now. What we want to do is we're trying to eliminate more of the noise, but also the frequencies that don't sound as good. So we're gonna first off, we're gonna use a high pass filter or a low cut filter, same thing. Because imagine it's like a wall of sound, and then if I only allow the high end of that sound to pass, it's called a high pass filter. But a low cut is I'm cutting off the bottom side, so it's a low cut. It's the same thing, just different companies call it differently. So we're gonna enable this, and then we're gonna see how it sounds, and we're gonna adjust it.
Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of Glory, the King of Glory.
Did you guys hear that? We're gonna scan it again while I play it, and then what you're gonna notice is that there's a section where there's clarity in the music, and then when I keep going, it'll sound thin because I cut off the low end, so there's no bass, and you want bass in vocals because it just sounds better. Not too much, just a little. So let's try it again.
Who brings our chaos back into order?
Too much bass.
Who makes the orphan a son and daughter?
This is alright.
Glory, the King of Glory.
This is getting thin right there.
Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of Glory, the King of Glory. Who brings our chaos
So we're just looking for the average.
order? Who makes the orphan
We're saying,
a
oh, it's
son
picking
and
up bass.
daughter? The King of Glory, the King of
Oh, the bass disappeared, so it's more clear.
Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of Glory, the King of
So
Glory. Who brings
around 100, that's where there's the bass is sounding. So past it, bass isn't sound anymore. So I'm looking around 200 being good.
the King of Glory? Who brings our chaos?
Around 400 is when it starts cutting off.
Who makes the orphan
So I'm gonna do around 250.
daughter? The King of Glory, the King of Glory.
So let's go back to the original and hear how it sounds.
Into order. Who makes the
This is without EQ.
orphan a son and daughter? The King of Glory, the King of Glory.
This is with EQ.
Brings our chaos back into order. Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of Glory, the King of Glory. Who brings our chaos
Okay.
back into
So
order?
after that,
Who makes the orphan a son and daughter?
we're gonna make his
King of Glory,
voice now pop a little.
King of
Okay.
Glory. Who brings
We're gonna select 4.
chaos back
I'm gonna bring it up.
order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of Glory, the King of Glory. Who brings our chaos
So
back into order? Who
same
makes
thing.
the orphan a son
I can
and daughter?
eliminate the
King of Glory,
top end, and what that does is it makes it sound bass, right? So that doesn't do much. But if I have too much,
son and daughter.
it's gonna sound too airy, too high.
The King of
but it's just playing around with it. What sounds good? And what gives clarity? So another thing in vocals is the letter S. S can be pretty harsh at times. There's something called a de-esser, which I can add, I think. Okay, maybe not. Okay, I thought there was. No. Let me look it up. Okay, they don't have it. But there's something called a de-esser we could use. But I find the S sounds just happens to be around 500 or 5,000. And then you just drop that a little.
Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? Who brings our chaos back into order? Who brings our chaos? Chaos. Who brings our chaos? 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 Who brings our chaos?
We're focusing on that chaos.
Who brings our chaos? 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 Who brings our chaos?
Okay, you get the picture. What I'm trying to do is trying to make it sound louder so we know what frequency to eliminate. So we can scan right here with number 3, and you can choose which band you're at over here at number 3. And then we're just gonna bring it low. For now, I'm just gonna go to around 5,500 and then open it up a little. Just because that's what I usually do. And that's why on vocals, when they have a strong S sound, I would bring that frequency down lower. Okay. Now, let's work on bands 1 and 2.
Who brings our chaos back into order?
So we're gonna take away the mud, is what Mircea and I would say. So mud happens around 400 hertz. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to run a few times through with and without it.
Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of Glory.
We're going to emphasize it first, and then we're going to take it away. Okay?
Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of Glory. Who brings our chaos back into order?
So you can hear that it's almost distorting. Well, it is distorting, and then it just sounds ugly, right?
Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of Glory.
Now Now we're going to do it again, but eliminate that.
Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of glory. Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes
This
the
is,
orphan?
so I'm going to run it again, and this is with it disabled or enabled. Okay, it's right here.
Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of glory. Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of glory. Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of glory. Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of glory. Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter?
So it's pretty good now. What I just did is I changed the band type. It was at low shelf before. I'm going to change it to band because I don't need a low shelf. Low shelf is something, here, let me show you. A low shelf looks like this. It's like it brings everything underneath this one up or down, right? It's a shelf. Whereas a band brings only that section up. And then there's a high shelf, meaning the opposite of low shelf. I'm bringing everything to the right of the number one up or down. But we're going to choose a band. Okay, turn that on. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan for a frequency that I don't like in Wayne's voice. And then I'm going to bring it up a lot so that we can hear it. And then I'm going to make it go down. I'm guessing it's going to be around 1K. Oh, that sounds nasty.
A son and daughter, the King of glory, who brings our chaos back into order, who makes the orphan a son and daughter, the King of glory, who brings our chaos back into order.
So I brought it down.
A son and daughter, the King of glory, who brings our chaos back into order, who makes the orphan a son and daughter.
I don't like there either.
The King of glory, who brings our chaos back into order.
This hurts my ears.
Who makes the orphan
So I'm going to take it away.
daughter, the King of glory, who brings our chaos back into order.
So in the X32, we only have 5 bands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But because this is computer on a DAW, they have a lot more features. So we can add and remove bands here. I'm going to add more and do the same thing.
Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of glory, who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of glory, who brings our chaos back into order?
I really don't like that.
Orphan, a son and daughter, the King of glory, who brings our chaos back into order, who
So that's around where I like it. You'll notice that it almost looks like how do I say it? Like it's almost double or triple or 4 times of the same frequency, and that's because it's the same note that he has had trouble with. Okay, that's too much science, but we're just eliminating the bad sounds. Okay, we emphasize it first, and then we take it away. We're trying to bring clarity with. Sorry, give me a sec. Let me think how to teach this. So, beginning, we had a high pass or a low cut filter. And what that did was get away the bass noises that were too loud. Okay? Secondly, we had a high shelf that was put in there. And that gives it more light, more clarity. Maybe you can hear right now, but my voice is pretty low, and sometimes there's no clarity. Maybe I should change that. But for now, you get to keep this. Yeah, and then 3 was to get the de-esser or get the S sound lower so that it sounds better. The 2 was to get a the mud out around the 300 to 500 area hertz band. Okay, and then 1 was my extra, where I just found another frequency that I didn't like. This is what worked for me. Try and experiment. You have the tools in your hands. Use it as much as you want, okay? Oh, by the way, I totally forgot to say this. Reaper, you can buy Reaper, but it's also an open software, I think, so you can just use it. There's just a button that you press beforehand so that you it'll ask you to pay, but it won't charge you if you just go to trial mode. Okay, so keep using it, but I did buy it because I think this was a valuable tool to own. So we went through Wayne's gate EQ. Let's work on his compression. Okay, gonna zoom out in the background here. Let's go find an area where I think he's really loud. Let's look into this.
That I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me.
I'm gonna select dynamic, and then we're gonna choose Reaper comp.
That I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me.
So yep, it's a little loud. Let's narrow that band a little. Now, compression. How do I teach this? There are multiple things in compression. We have a WAV file, okay? And in the X32, it's actually a diagonal line. This says as volume increases, I'm gonna compress by how much on this. So having a diagonal line means that I'm not compressing at all. Wait. Let me get paint out. So on the X32, when you press the compression button or the dynamics, whatever it is, you will see a line like this on a brand new channel. What that means is the Y column is the input volume. So input volume, if I input a loud noise, it's going to come out a loud noise with the output volume or compressed volume. Okay. So there's this thing on the compression called threshold. What that means is where am I going to change the compression on this line? So maybe I do it halfway, wherever it is. We're going to listen to it to find out where we're going to have to compress, right? Let's say, in this case, just this point. I'm going to start changing things, right? So I'm just going to draw a line here. This would be like 100 to 1 ratio, right? So in our case, the ratio at the beginning is 4 to 1. So what that means is from here to here, let's say over here, we divide that by 2, and that'll be 2 to 1. Now if I do that again, this line would be 4 to 1. I'm just going to move it, get rid of the other ones. Oh. And you can move it back. Okay, so what that means is when I have the threshold dialed in, that'll be at a 4 to 1 ratio, right? That means every input volume I go up, I change, every 4 decibels I input more past this point is only going to go up by 1 decibel. So it compresses or shrinks the volume that the instrument or the singers are bringing out. Okay, so that is threshold, is this point that on the line that I'm going to start changing, and the ratio, which is how much squish I'm going to do. I can change that ratio depending on what is actually needed. Now, what I like to do, because someone on the internet suggested it, and it sounds actually really good, is I do a 10 to 1 ratio. And most people would say, Dennis, that's too aggressive. I will show you why it's not. So 10 to 1 ratio, right? And we knee it. So what you see this point here, this is the knee, right? It's pretty aggressive right now, because what it means is when I sing below this range, this volume, it's going to be 1 to 1. So there's no compression. And once I go past this threshold, it's a little aggressive. So it's a really sudden change, right? We don't like sudden things. We want it to feel natural. So what the knee does, instead of having a sharp angle, it takes away the sharpness. And does that. Okay? It takes away the sharpness so that it's a sudden change. Or it's a quiet change, subtle change. Subtle change. Okay? Does that make sense? What the knee does? So we would do a 10-to-1 ratio with a 3 knee. And here's what it sounds like.
That I would be set free.
So this is without compression because the threshold isn't dialed in.
That I would be set free.
Let's focus on this side.
Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me.
We're gonna focus on that all.
All that you've done for me. For all that you've done for me. All that you've done for me.
We're actually listening more than we are looking with our eyes.
That I would be set free. For all that you've done for me. 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 That I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. That
Sounds pretty good.
I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me.
So, we talked about the threshold, the ratio, the knee. We're gonna talk about the attack, the release. Wait, those sound familiar. Just like in the gate, they have an attack and a release. Do you remember what it means? Great. So again, the attack is how fast that gate or compression is going to work on the volume, the sound, right? So it's a fast attack. We're going to get the very second it goes over the threshold, it's going to cut off, or it's going to get compressed. If it's a longer attack time, right? It's going to take a long time in order for it to get compressed. So in our application with this particular song, it was just that 1 second, so it won't compress at all.
All that you've done for me, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me.
Right? Play around with it. I actually like it a lot closer to 0 because we want it as fast as possible. Okay? I'm also going to bring down the threshold to -122. And So attack is how fast the compression happens. The release is how long I'm holding that compression, right? Does it happen right away and then I slowly come back out? Or is it I only want that part where we compressed and then I open it up again, right? So I feel that 500 is around right. Just like the gate, we want it to seem more natural. The longer the time span, the more unnoticeable it will seem. What the release? Well, mind you, this is in milliseconds. So 556 is like 0.5 of a second. So it's still releasing really fast, right? Okay, we talked about threshold, which is that point on the line. We talked about ratio, which is the slope of the output volume. We talked about the knee size, which is the curve. We talked about the attack and release, which is how fast it happens and how slow it releases the compression. What we also have is the wet. Wet means the gain. Okay, that means how much extra volume we can feed into this. Why do we want to do this? Because maybe we over-compressed, or maybe the singers aren't singing very loud when they're soft. So we have a gain here that can bring up their volume again. So what I mean is this. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's go here. This isn't very loud. Oh, I cut off. Why? Because the gate? Let's try that again.
Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to church. I'm so glad that you're here. I invite you to stand and say hello to your neighbor. Who breaks the power of sin and darkness?
So we're looking at the. Okay, I guess don't touch the wet yet until you've done everything else, okay? Because we're not going to see any effects right now or benefits right now by changing the wet right now. The reason being there's no other instruments. So it comes in handy when all the instruments are in, we can't gain it anymore. We can't put more into the fader. We put it in here. Okay, it brings up, like I usually have all the singers at +4. And it just gives them a little more boost so it's more clear. Okay, that means when they're singing their softest, they can be heard easier. So what this gain does, when we go back to this, is that, let's use a line. Let's say from 0 decibel to 4 decibel, which is right here, right? Whatever they sing is going to be louder. So actually, it probably would look like that, right? So I'm changing the input volume. Okay, I'm increasing it. So they don't need as much to sing loud, right? Or more to the point, they're too soft. I can't hear them. There's nothing to boost in the volume, and I don't want to have to keep pushing the fader up and down when they're too loud. I don't want to be bringing it down, and when they're too soft, I don't want to keep bringing it up. So on the wet, I'm going to bring it up by 4 so that it automates it for me, right? I don't have to keep playing with it. I hope that makes sense. Okay, we've done Wayne, and you know what? We're going to stop it here because I've gone for an hour and more now. So next time I'm going to do maybe, let's go to snare, or let's say one of the drums. All right, thank you for watching. I hope this helps you and dives a little deeper on how to play with gate, EQ, compression. And again, we talked about the whole attack, which is how fast the gate opens, the hold, which how long it holds the gate open for, and the release, where it closes, how fast it closes. In the threshold, we talked about the EQ, eliminating and listening to which frequencies. We talked about the high pass filter to not make it too thin, but eliminating the lower frequencies so there's no noise. We talked about boosting up the high frequencies using a high shelf. And then we talked about eliminating the S sounds. Talked about eliminating the mud, and then how to use how to scan for frequencies so that you can eliminate the bad sounds, the bad noise. Okay. We also went through compression, talked about the threshold being on the line where we're attacking, or yeah. And then we talked about the ratio, how much of this line are we limiting past this threshold. We talked about the knee size, which is right here, how aggressive it is. We don't like aggressive, right? And we talked about the attack and release, and we talked about the gain, or wet. Okay? So thank you for watching. We're gonna continue in the future.